Brilliant, warm greetings, Tiffany. Carol here. And in this time together, we're going to be exploring the insidious self-doubt, particularly that emerges when you're on the edge of something really good and really important, which is the development of yourself in exponential ways. So let's break this down. First of all, we all know self-doubt. That's a common thing. For some people, they experience it more than others. And for some people, they don't seem to be as affected by it than others. This always baffled me. Many years ago, and my first husband, he was a very confident man, and he seemed to be unscathed by this experience of self-doubt, at least as far as I could tell. And I would enter into these spirals of self-doubt that would take me down for days. And I would just watch him not even go into questioning himself. If he had to, he worked in an architectural firm. If he had to let a team member go, for example, he wouldn't even question himself. He wouldn't go down into an emotional spiral. And I thought, how the heck does somebody do that? Now, probably if you're listening to me, it's because you're a sensitive, empathetic soul, which has its blessings and its challenges. The blessings are that you have the capacity to have a much richer, more full compassion for the human experience, for all of it. The challenge side of it is that it's very easy to dislocate yourself from yourself by quote unquote putting yourself in someone else's shoes or imagining what they might be feeling, tuning into what you think they're feeling or what they are feeling. And then tuning in is one thing, but when you actually lose your center within yourself because you've tuned into what you think they're thinking or the energy that you're feeling from them, here's how it actually works. Usually I go into this or generally what I do is point people to my Essentials for Empaths course, which I'll stick a link for in the show notes, because that goes into great detail about the anatomy of this. But I want to give an overview right now. For empaths, generally what happens is we say or do something, something happens, an event, and then we witness the other person. We maybe face read them, we're getting cues, the tone of their voice, whatever they say. And if it triggers something in us, that's a fearful place, like, oh, being judged. Oh, they're thinking that I'm being arrogant, or they're thinking that I don't know what I'm talking about, either end of that spectrum. And as soon as we think that thought, if it's connected to a fear from our past, then we actually start projecting out into the field between us and onto them what we think that they're doing, that is our actual fear. And then we start to experience that as a reality. So perhaps they are thinking that, but perhaps they're not. And the sort of damaging thing, if you will, is that we are recreating pain from the past in the present because it's an untended to fear. And then we can dress that up as empaths under the guise of feeling what they feel. This is a huge disservice to empaths, to sensitive beings. As empaths, can you tune in and feel what somebody else feels? Yes, that's true. That's clear. That can happen. But you want to discern and differentiate that from tuning into what we think they might be feeling or thinking that's connected to one of our fears from the past that got triggered in the moment. Okay. That was cool. I wasn't planning on going into that, but that feels important. So this topic of self-doubt, it can be insidious. If it's left unchecked, it will destroy what it is that we are creating and giving rise to. It will stop it in its tracks. It will lose momentum. Sometimes the doubt can take the form of doubting first and then blaming second. This is a really common phenomena as well. Another direction it can take is doubting and then shaming ourselves or another. Another direction it can take is doubting and then making another person, place, thing, or ourselves wrong. All of these are unproductive and unnecessary. So if this speaks to you, if you can feel this, as soon as you notice that this might be happening in any situation, stop. Clear the doubt out. Sometimes it's like taking splinters out of your being. There are many different practices that you can use to clear the doubt out. I love working with essential oils, stopping, smelling an oil, putting it on an acupoint. I speak a lot about this also when it's connected to familial patterns, for example, with worthiness. To use an essential oil that's a key oil to transmute the pattern, that pattern within the family legacy. If you're interested in that whole realm, you can check out my Tending the Ancestral Wounds course. I'll also stick a link to that below. You can pray, you can go on a walk, you can take a bath, whatever it is that you can do with the intention that you are clearing out what's not you. Don't get in bed with your doubt and entertain it. Do you know what that looks like? That looks something like this. Like, I'm speaking to you right now, I'm making this video and I have a doubt, because this is actually one that likes to come rear its head, not infrequently. Tiffany, you're talking too much. Can you be more, you should be more concise about what you're doing. This video, blah, 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 it'll go on. If I start for a second entertaining that thought by giving it my attention, I've gotten in bed with the doubt. I've gotten in bed with the doubting thought. And then guess what? I start doing the very thing I'm afraid of doing. I start talking too much because I lost my train of thought, because I'm giving my attention to the doubt, because I've split my energy. There's a game that no one really tells us we play with ourselves that is deeply disempowering. And this is the game. That when you have a doubting thought, a little coaching voice that tells you you're not doing a good job, this should be better, blah, 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 blah. Something, a thought form that actually doesn't feel good, but it comes under the guise of trying to help you to improve yourself. Whenever those doubting thoughts come, the thing that no one really talks about, and this is important to stop in its tracks, is that we start giving it our attention because we think that's going to be what helps make us better, or that we think that by figuring out how to make that doubt go away, like this, like if it's me going, you're talking too much, you're not making sense, and then I start giving my attention to it, and then I think, oh, I have to stop recording it, I have to start a new one, and I need to script everything out first. The more I actually start giving my attention to the doubt and changing who I am because of it, the more I actually open myself up to be infiltrated with all kinds of disenfranchising doubts. This splinters your energy. It splinters my energy. It fragments our being. We can't authentically show up for ourselves or others in this way. It's impossible. So from the very beginning, as soon as the doubting thoughts come in, and you'll know that they're there because they don't feel good when you think them and feel them, you do something immediately to shift. You can say, I learned this from Dr. Clarissa Estes, you can say, be gone. You can say, get out. You can do a motion to pull it out. You can take a bath. You can take a walk. You can do an oil. Do whatever you need to do to stop it in its tracks. But don't try to figure it out from inside of it. That's the trick. Don't enter into the relationship with the doubt and then try to figure out how to make the doubt go away from inside of it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Try it. It doesn't work. Opt out. If you've opted in any way, subtly or not so subtly, opt out. In that moment, opt out. Gather yourself and continue. You know who you are. You can feel it. If you feel the truth in your heart, that's you. You may be more or less practiced in trusting yourself to speak from this place and act from this place, but you know who you are if you give yourself a moment right now to land in it. From my heart to yours, and until next time.